So I wanted to create a short video for my new training clients to kind of understand how dog training works and the process we're going to go through. So here is the presentation, rules of the game, and an intro to dog training. Here's a quick look at what we want to go through real quick. How dogs learn the science, the hot cold game, science for the real world, teaching dogs some human marks, and the training pathway will follow. So here's the science. This is how dogs learn. The big fancy words are operant conditioning learning theory. From this theory, we get this wonderful chart you see next to us that has 4 quadrants: positive reinforcement, positive punishment, negative punishment. Don't really worry about all that necessarily. What you need to understand is really what's on the sides. Are we adding something or removing something to increase behavior or decrease behavior? Now, you can read my fun examples to the side, but in essence, this is how we get fun things like balance trainers, positive trainers, compulsion trainers, that kind of stuff. It also just different ways we can try working your dog's brain. What you need to worry about is that as a balance trainer, I will use this whole theory, this whole chart, to help teach you and your dog how to operate in the world, where a positive trainer or a compulsive trainer would only use half the chart at a time. Here's what I want you to worry about is the hot cold game. I'm sure you played this as your friends or in grade school or whatever. Someone hid something or they wanted you to do something, and you were given the clues hot or cold to guide you to whatever you needed to either find or whatever goal you needed to do to win the game. That is, in essence, what your dog is doing with you 24 hours a day when you are conscious and they are conscious. um, they're always watching you. They're always learning what you like, what you don't like, trying to find ways to express what they need and what they want to you by playing hot and cold with how you respond to them. For you to kind of understand what that feels like for them, to kind of put yourself in their shoes, imagine if I could magically drop you into the middle of China. I have nothing against China. I've just never been there and know absolutely nothing about most of Chinese culture. um, but if you drop me in the middle of China with no smartphone, no translator, no guide, I would be playing a lot of hot and cold, maybe some weird hand signals, some universal gestures to try and figure out how to get even my most basic needs, let alone a way to get back to home. um, and that's kind of what your dog goes through every single day with you. At least they have a home where, in this particular scenario, I would be pretty homeless and it would be kind of rough. So, to help our dogs, we are going to give them some kind of universal sounds or words to help them that they can learn. You drop me in the middle of China, I would pick up some Chinese. Your dog is going to pick up some of whatever language you choose, as long as you keep the meaning of those particular sounds, words exactly the same, and what those sounds and words mean to be exactly the same. So below are some different examples of common commands and marks that people use. Um, when we go through training, we will create, our own list of what you would like, or I have a pre-built list if you're welcome to steal from too, um, to work towards our goals of whatever we'd like to train our dogs to be able to do. Finally, here is our training pathway. Here is what we're going to use to get our dogs from not knowing what to do to being able to do exactly what we want them to do. First step is teaching. We're going to use hot, cold, patience, trial and error, learning theory, lots of treats, anything we need or want to kind of get the behavior we're looking for. So if we take sit, for example, if we're working on teaching sit, we're going to be using lots of treats and maybe a little bit of pressure to guide our dog's butt down, our dog's head up with the food, to try and physically get that predictable pattern from them. So when they see the treat, they put their butt down. Once we can get past that step, we're going to move on to refining. So in the refining step, we're going to move from needing that treat, that little bit of pressure, whatever we're doing, to what we actually want it to be a little bit closer to in the end. So using a hand signal or using verbal commands to get the dog able to perform the command pretty reliably in a controlled situation. Once we think we have the skill refined to a level we're happy with, we're going to go and test it in the real world, which is the proofing stage. We're going to take it out of the living room, which is our controlled situation, and we're going to try those sits out by the mailbox. We're going to try sits at grandma's house or wherever else we might want to go to change different situations and see if the dog really understands what sit means in this case. Or does it only know it in the living room? Sometimes that's a challenge for dogs. Once we're happy, though, then we can move on to the next step. But if not, or if we find holes in our training, then we repeat the refined step and we proof again. We cycle through that as many times as we need to. But if we are happy with it, then we're just going to maintain that skill. So instead of working on it every single day, maybe we only work on it twice a week. And this frees us up then to work on other training skills, other activities, and build those into our dog's repertoire. Your dog never stops learning. I have taught as many 8-week-old puppies as I have 6+ old dogs. They're still learning, they're still testing boundaries, they're still playing hot cold with us every single day. So we can still use this training pathway all the way up until our dogs are no longer with us. So hopefully this video has given you an idea of what the training process is and what it's going to kind of look like and how your dog learns as we go through it. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me anytime. See you next time.